Hello, my name is Paul. I usually go by the handle Malacast Agent. You can find me on Twitter at MCast Editorial, or just look up Malacast Agent. You can also find my website, which is a blogger website, at the Malacast Editorial, which is mcasteditorial.blogspot.com. That's MCAST editorial.blogspot.com. Today, normally I would go on my website, write up a review, which I'm going to probably still do for the game after I complete it, but as of now, I just want to make a statement, because I'm going to be doing a YouTube channel occasionally, streaming, perhaps, more likely than not live stream. I'm going to just be putting up video. I want to be doing a like a documentary called Mastering the Killer Bee, which is a thing I want to do in February, if not March, where I play multiple fighting games to better myself and hopefully get up to pro level. I've been playing, how long? I don't remember. I've been playing, like, Mortal Kombat, for example, since I was about 10 years old. So about 20 years I've been playing it. I've been playing Street Fighter for about 14 years. Not 14 years, 22 years, 23 years. I've been playing that longer. I've beaten, what was it? I played, not beaten. I played many versions of the games over the last 2 decades. But that's going to be coming up soon. For this episode, I hope this is shot right. I know I'm shooting it on a thing. I do apologize. If it's shot wrong, this will be the only video that's shot this way, so I do apologize ahead of time if the orientation is off, so I do hope to have that fixed. But anyway, I only have a few minutes here to talk about a game that's called Resident Evil VII Biohazard. Everybody seems to be playing it right now. It's the newest game to come out this last week. I'm going to be doing a full review of the game. And I usually, if you read my site before, that doesn't mean I'm going to give away spoilers and so on. It's just more of an in-depth analysis of the game, which is I can't get to right now because I'm only about halfway, if not 3/4 of the way through the game right at the moment. So, let's talk about it. First off, it is definitely a PT scale back. Gorgeous. It's absolutely amazing how simultaneously beautiful it can be and horrifying at the same time. Very dark, but you expect that from a horror game, especially with the enemies being so dark themselves. They're made out of like mold, like black mold, and it's very weird. The story so far, you follow a guy named Ethan who you play as, and you can have a feel that it's really based on VR. Now, the VR system itself, is the headset that PlayStation put out, and I think it's the Oculus Rift for the Xbox 360, or Xbox One, excuse me. But I could see it really being a proponent for that peripheral. And I'm not really much of a peripheral guy, but if I had to be, I'd say that the VR headset and that game, it would be truly terrifying. I don't usually play VR games. I remember VR when I was a kid. The technology has definitely come a long way, but for me, it's not really something that I want to play. I don't want to sit there with a headset on for several hours straight. Even if I play 2 hours a day, I don't want to sit there with that thing sitting on my head for 2 hours. However, the game is gorgeous. The graphics are far superior than I expected them to be, far superior than even the E3 trailer. Surprisingly, this game came out relatively close to the E3 launch, and it was not surprising to me that the game itself is up to par what I expected it to be there. But I didn't expect it to be the type of gameplay that was all first person. It didn't really feel like Resident Evil. I believe I've stated that the game looks nothing like a Resident Evil game, and that is a good thing. It does feel like, honestly, you could have slapped on another, horror title franchise, and I would have believed it. There's a little bit of borrowing. Borrowing is a term I'd like to use that, it definitely takes from Konami's, system. And Konami deserves it. I say, if you're going to screw the pooch as bad as Konami has, and I've always been forward about Konami being as horrible with their decision-making techniques, but this could have easily have been a contender for Silent Hills if it was to come out. Now, this plays well. It looks really nice, and it's got a real first-person perspective to it that kind of stole from the PT. Like, if I played PT right now and I compared it to the opening sequences when you're first in the old house, the guest house as it's called in the game, it feels just like it. It feels exactly like it. I have no doubt that this game is truly a complete takeoff of that. So in that regard, yeah, they did take a little bit, and improvise from that. I see a little bit of Parasite Eve in there as well, but I don't yet see the tie-in. I don't know if it's going to be at the end. I don't know if there's some little tiny bits, but again, if there weren't little hints as to how it ties into Raccoon City and why it doesn't even take place near Raccoon City, it's like states away from it, you kind of take into consideration that this game really could have just been anything but Resident Evil and still would have been successful. It's scary. I don't really get scared by horror titles. I'm more just fascinated by them. Being someone who writes horror, or someone who enjoys the macabre and that spine-tingling chill that's usually given off by these type of games, I didn't find it to be that terrifying, but I also have really thick skin. There were some jump scares. I feel so far there could be more. I still feel there's a lot more action involvement in it than you would normally have seen in any other game. However, tying it into Resident Evil itself, I do like the new approach. I just don't get where it's tied into. I think, I don't want to give away too much, but I think I have a theory that it ties in with Ada from some Resident Evil 2. I could be wrong. Someone's probably beaten the game pretty fast, quickly already. I've seen someone play the game a couple of days before release, and I'm guessing from where I am now, I'm almost at the halfway to three-quarter way point of being done. The game can be beaten in 4 hours, apparently, so it's not a really long game, but it's tough. It's very puzzle, centric, and I like that. It's creepy. It kind of feels a lot like if Walking Dead married, Twin Peaks and had a baby with, partial birth of Silent Hills, and that's kind of what it feels like. It doesn't even feel like Resident Evil at all. It doesn't come off like a Resident Evil title. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. But I do find that Konami deserves to get screwed in the sense of like, oh, this looks like a ripoff of PT. Like, well, when you put something amazing out there like PT was supposed to be, and then what Silent Hills was previewed to be, the teased to be, then I like what they did. I mean, the whole like backwoods, esque regenerators from like the 4th and 5th games, and the kind of licorice monster kind of esque thing that are in 5. I get that, but at the same time, it doesn't feel at all like the other titles. Could I just be, nitpicking? I don't know. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil series. I feel it's the only real choice in survival horror we have anymore. But I do believe that the game itself, it bodes well. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I would recommend it. If you're into horror, if you're into, puzzles, I think the puzzles could have been a little bit more difficult, really, but I feel the balancing in the game is a little off. Like some places where it's really easy and it should be harder, as opposed to like it should be progressively harder. But I could have something in the very beginning could be astoundingly difficult to do, yet towards the middle of the game it's practically snap and it's over. It's just quick and easy in some cases. Anyhow, not to get tied up into my own monologue about this whole thing, I'd like to segue real quick and just say I will be doing some YouTube videos here and there, mostly because I will be live. I will be streaming some gaming, but it's not really going to be the fundamentals, system. I'm not really a person who wants to live stream games all the time. I'm more of a person who wants to just discuss things, and review and critique. But if you get a chance, check out the Malacast editorial. It's my website. I will be releasing a couple more posts that go along. I did do a what was it? Oh, I did an interview with Merle Lafferty. Her book's coming out January 31st, and I will be doing a special. What will I be doing? What was it? Oh, I'm going to be doing a special discussion blog post where I'll be talking about the book that I wrote called The Divine. Just do like a Q&A. I'm gonna have a friend interview me, discuss the book. Put it out there so we can get that moving along. The book should be out by April, if not May of this year. So that's good. Thumbs up. But other than that, just to clarify, I liked Resident Evil 7. I don't feel it plays like Resident Evil at all. Not a bad thing necessarily, but the story itself is. If you were going to relaunch the entire series, or just jut off of it, kind of like how New Vegas in the Fallout universe is kind of tied into, but not necessarily the same game as like Fallout's 1 through 3, or 4 at this point. I'm sorry, 1 through 4. It does have that, style to it. But overall, yeah, like I said, I'll be doing quite a few videos here and there. If I do live stream, I'll be live streaming certain games, or I'll just having just discussions. But hit me up with a comment if you want. Tell me what you think about the game. Personally, I just feel like I'm curious now what the DLC is going to be, because it would be really interesting to see if the DLC. There's three DLCs that are guaranteed to be released. I bought the season pass with it, so I'm going to be interested in seeing if the DLC, the first one I believe also releases on the 31st of January. But I want to know if that's going to be the tie-in to Raccoon City. Are you going to go back to Raccoon City? How big are they going to be? Are they going to be like 2-hour-long expansions? Because then the game will be worth it. Capcom doesn't seem to screw people that way, so I'll be okay with them doing it. I will also be interested in playing Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. That really has been intriguing me. But I'll have some lists up. I want to do some more interviews, and hopefully, the site will get going the way I wanted it to this year. But thank you for listening, and have a great day, guys.